Hello, everybody. Be welcome. Thank you for coming and joining to your English class. We have a new week and we have a new value. Let's go to see what the Lord said to us according to Matthew 6:1. Now we go to the sixth chapter of Matthew. In this case, we're going to continue with versicle 1. It's the beginning for a new passage. And we have one important title for this. But remember, chapter 6 and chapter 5 is part of the Sermon on the Mount. That means that all these short readings are part of the same speech from Jesus. And it's not, it's a very important speech because it was the opening for Jesus to know the people about the kingdom of heaven. Well, let's read Matthew 6:1. Be careful not to perform your righteous acts before men, to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. Well, one more time, Matthew 6:1. Be careful not to perform your righteous acts before men, to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. Well, this is according to the Vivian Standard Bible. And the value for this week is going to be righteous acts. Righteous acts. Okay, maybe for this passage, for the Spanish version, we are going to thinking about to charity, like to give help. In this case, help maybe can be money to the poor people, but it's not just about the money. It's not just about to give material things. We have to thinking about anything of help, anything that can be a help for somebody. Well, that we are going to talk about, it's a righteous act. We have to define, we have to know what is a righteous act. Well, let's see. Jennifer said to me she has problem with the audio. Tell me, everybody can listen to me, or somebody have problem like Jennifer?
Sí se escucha, profe.
Okay, Ulises, you can hear me? Well, thank you. Well, let's see. Jennifer, um, okay, well, thank you. Let's go to dictionary.com, and we are going to pay attention for the word righteous because it's part of the word or the value for this week. We have righteous acts. Well, righteous, remember the pronunciation for this is for two syllables. The first part is right and the second part is going to be choose. It's come from the word, or maybe the root for this word is right. Is like to thinking to do the correct, or maybe to do the nice things, or to be okay. Well, according to dictionary.com, this word can be like an adjective, or maybe it can be a noun. Well, in this case, righteous acts, we are going to talking about an adjective for acts, and is characterized by uprightness or morality. Well, or maybe can be morality right or justifiable. Well, remember, one of the things for righteous is that we can talking about justice too. But righteous is mass from maybe from North or maybe from the German language. but in this case, from Germanic root, but justice is from Latin root. Well, according to this, we are going to go to the Old English, like right with. In this case, is like the origin is from right and wise. We have synonyms like good, honest, fair, or maybe right. And we have some opposite for this, like evil and wicked. Well, and we have something interesting about what does it mean. Righteous is an adjective that means virtuous, honorable, morally right. Being righteous means doing what is right, obeying the law, or adhering to morals. It is often used in religious contexts. And we have here one example that if we take this definition and we're going to talking about Matthew 6:1, well, is clear for us that the meaning for this is not just to maybe to borrow, to give money to poor. It's something else. It can be every things I do that is, according to this, that is virtuous, honorable, or morally right, or maybe that we are going to adhere into morals, good things in this case, we have to pay attention. We have to be careful to do this before men, not for maybe with the correct heart, because we can make we can make good deeds, right acts, but what is the reason for that? Is for the other people can see that I am a good person, or I do something nice, or I do this because I want to obey to God. I want maybe to say to God, well, Lord, I love you. Then you say, I have to love the other people, and I do this because I love you first, and then I love my neighbor. Well, or I just do this because I want that my neighbors can see me when I do something good. Well, if I want to, maybe I'm pretending to obtain glory about that, that is bad. But if I'm going to do this in a way that I'm not interested in that people can look what I am doing, that is not good for God. For that is say, you will have your reward, or you are not going to have reward. Because what is thinking your heart? What is the intention for your heart? Because God can see inside of hearts and what are our intentions. Well, that's gonna be all for the versicle for today. And we have to go to practice English for conversation. But before to this, I want to remember for this Friday, for the next Friday, I need that you read the first letter. For the last week, we can go to talking about the first letter. We only talking about the preface for this book. And for that, in this week, we are going to take a look for the letter number 1 from Screwtape Letters. Well, pay attention because there is going to find many interesting things. Try to read this. Try to come to the class and reading this part. Please try to pay attention for some expression or maybe some things that are difficult to understand for you, or some things that we are going to make a question like, hey, in this part, I really don't know what is the author saying to me, or what is the intention for this text. Try to thinking about it because we are going to talking about it in for the next class. Well, and now here we go to conversation. For today, I'm going to need your participation. We're going to make conversations for well, this is number one. Is the killer is a business traveler. I need two participants. One is going to be the interviewer, and the other one is gonna be Jack. Tell me, I need two students for practice today.
Me, teacher.
Okay, Ulises, thank you so much. You are going to be the interviewer. I need someone else to be Jack. Tell me who wants to be Jack.
Me, teacher.
Okay, Jennifer is going to read what is Jack in this part. Okay, um, your time is now. Begin Ulises and then continue Jennifer reading.
Good morning, sir. I'd like to ask you a few
Lisa, sí.
questions if I may.
Well, I'm waiting to catch my flight, so I guess I can answer a few questions.
Thank you, sir. First of all, how often do you travel?
I travel about twice a month.
Where are you flying to on the street?
I'm flying to Austin, Texas.
And where did you fly on your last trip?
I flew, I flew to Portland, Oregon. I've already been there three times.
Really, really, do you enjoy traveling for business?
Yes, I found prefer staying in the office.
What do you like most about traveling?
No puedo ver lo que sigue.
Okay, this is a part for you, Jennifer.
Mm, uh, I like visiting, visiting, visiting new cities and trying out new food.
Is there anywhere you would like to visit that you haven't visited yet?
Yes, I like to go to Hawaii. I love going
Thank you very much for your time today.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you so much, Ulises and Jennifer, for your participation. It was very nice. Well, pay attention for this. I think there is no, it's not a complicated, in this case, a complicated conversation. And there is many now work for you. I think there is not much and words to explain it's a simple conversation, but we have to pay attention to some things that is very interesting, because just for remember about spelling, or about maybe to speech or the speaking for some words. For example, remember, if we find this word writing like in this part, we are going to think in one thing. There is talking about in many parts of this conversation. We have the word traveling, and traveling one more time. Remember, when we use double L for this word, is for British English. British use with travel, traveling is for British English. We have to remember that. And we're going to find traveling, in this case, is most common for US English. Well, and we can thinking about, well, maybe in this case, the interviewer or the person that make this like a transcription is probably that is for is speaking for British English. Something else that we can thinking about British English for this case is this one expression, catch my flight, to catch my flight. Remember, for in the case for British, they use to catch. To catch, for example, the bus, in this case, is a flight. Is very common for UK English. And American, we're going to say to take my flight. Is going to use American people. To catch, to take. Well, this part of the word is thinking to us, well, this is must, is a little pretty like British English. But there is one more thing that is maybe interesting. And is the word sir. Sir. Well, it's another, remember, this word is very used for Americans. Sir is used for American to say like Mr. Is the same, sir and Mr. But the only difference in this case is that it's most common to use sir in British English like a title that come from the king, or maybe for the queen for England, to give this title to something important persons. Well, but in this case is similar to Mr. And we have another thing that is interesting in this part, and is this word. Well, we have this word. And is this one. Well, remember, for British people, visiting with that T sound, visiting. But for Americans, this word is going to be like something like this. It's going to be like flap T. And for flap T, the rule according to the United States is like to use when the T is between two vowels. In this case, this is the first vowel and this is the second vowel. People in the United States use maybe the sound for that T like a D, or maybe like an R. It's going to be like be sitting, or maybe it can be too like be sitting. We can hear something like this for American pronunciation. Okay, for example, if we're talking about a neutral accent for English, we can say visiting, and it's nice for standard English pronunciation. British is going to use the same, visiting with the T, the pure T sound. But Americans is going to say this, I like visiting with the R sound, or maybe I like visiting. I like visitings. And there is one more example for this. Think about the the American English pronunciation. And is this part. This is another common word for explaining the flap T. And is cities. Okay, well, I'm going to write over here. For example, for standard English, this word is like cities with that T sound. It's very, very the same way that is going to be pronounced according to the British English. But for Americans, they say, well, the T, this T is between two vowels. This is one vowel, and this is going to be the other vowel. Well, for this, we can use the flap, we must use the flap T. And they is going to say something like cities, or maybe cities. This is the word. Remember, this is just for pronunciation. It's not for writing. It's not for spelling. This is just for pronunciation. Well, we have this because it's interesting, and we can make a little difference between American English and British English according to this conversation. In grammar, no, but yes into pronunciations, and yes into spellings. Well, let's go to another one. Now, I need two more students for make this another conversation. Tell me, who wanna practice for today?
I want to practice.
Okay, Felix, thank you so much. Somebody else? Tell me, who wanna be the partner for Felix? I need one more participation for today. Please, come on.
Yo, teacher.
Okay, Glenda. Well, Glenda, you're going to be the interviewer, and Felix, you are going to be Brad. This is an interview with a famous actor. Come on, we hear you.
Thank you taking some time off from your busy schedule to answer a few questions about your life.
It's my pleasure.
Could you tell us about an average day in your life?
Sure, I get up early at 7 in the morning. Then I have breakfast. After breakfast, I go to the gym.
Are you studying anything now?
Yes, I'm learning a new film called The Man About Town.
What do you do in the afternoon?
First, I have lunch. Then I go to the studio and I scoot. Sorry, again. First, I have a lunch. Then I go to the studio and shoot some scenes.
Which scene are you acting today?
I am acting a scene about an angry lover.
That's very interesting. What do you do in the evening?
In the evening, I go home and I have dinner and study my scripts.
Do you go at night?
Not always. I like going out at weekends.
Okay, that's all. Thank you so much, Glenda and Felix. Well, we have here some, maybe some things that we can, well, we have to improve. We need to improve some of, maybe for some words, or maybe we forget the correct pronunciation for some words. Well, at first, another pronunciation, or maybe a difference between making a pronunciation like British English or maybe like American English. And it's going to be this word. This is another word that if we use a pronunciation for this word, in general, for this word, for, well, this, remember, is very common in many words, because this word is like a prefix. Inter is a prefix. Well,
Interview.
okay, we have interview is the prefix for view. We use in internet too, like a prefix for the net. International, like a prefix for nations. Well, it's very common to use these prefixes. Well, but according, we have a little problem with this because it ends with the or son. It's an letter R with a vowel. Well, for standard English, remember, standard English is not for American, is not for British. It's in the middle. Well, it's common to say inter. We are going to say, or maybe we are going to speak the letter T and the sound at the ending. Inter. Well, that is a standard English. In this case, is we thinking about British English is so different because they are not going to use this word. These are going to use the schwa sound and maybe sound like interview, and you are going to find a big difference in this case for British English. And now, here we go to the American one. For Americans, there is something special when we are going to find the N and the T. When we find the N and the T, American English say to us, well, it's like to use double N. For some texts, and according to the phonetic system for USA, they say use double N. Another text just say, well, if you find N and T, well, just say the N and not the T. For that, American people say this like inner, or just inner. No matter about it, we add double N or one N at the ending is the same sound. But how American is going to pronounce this word? Well, like interview, interviewer, internet, international. And that is the difference between two. In this case, for this word, we can look in a nice way the difference between to use American British, but to use a standard pronunciation. Well, quiero detenerme aquí un momentito. Ese tipo de palabras, la letra T es en el inglés americano, es una especie de fetiche, ¿verdad? Que se tienen los norteamericanos con las letras T. Ya se dieron cuenta en la anterior que la T en medio de dos vocales la hacen como una R, la hacen como una D. Algunos la pronuncian más como la D, otros la pronuncian más como una E. Pero cuando la N y la T está en alguna palabra, N delante de T, el norteamericano promedio tiende a eliminar el sonido de la T. Algunos le agregan las dos N al momento de pronunciarla o una N. La verdad es que eso no matter, no importa porque al final de cuentas va a sonar igual con una o dos Ns. Aparte que no es algo que se vaya a escribir. Por lo tanto, no es que sea correcto escribirlo con dos N o con una N. Se escribe con la NT, pero se pronuncia sin la T. Esta regla por lo menos es la que deja clara la brecha que hay, no solo entre el inglés británico y el inglés norteamericano, sino también entre el acento estándar. Si usted esto lo pronuncia como interview, usted está utilizando un acento estándar. ¿Por qué o dónde se nota, dónde se marca que es estándar? Bueno, en primer lugar, para los norteamericanos se marca en que usted pronuncia la T. Y para los británicos se pronuncia en que usted hace la pronunciación de la R al final. Porque recordemos que ese tipo de palabras que terminan en ER para el inglés británico forman parte de las palabras que no suena la R y lo que suena es un sonido de schwa al final y por eso ellos sonarían esto como inter, inter y no inter. Entonces, de un lado o del otro queda bien plasmado en este tipo de palabras. Todas las que comienzan con este prefijo denotan el estilo de pronunciación de alguien, ya sea que usted le tire más al inglés norteamericano o haga un inglés estándar. Muy pocas veces quizás vamos a tratar o a sacar la pronunciación del británico, pero quien sea, digamos, de un inglés europeo o británico, al escucharle a usted sabe que es un inglés estándar. ¿Qué implica un standard English? Bueno, es un inglés sin acento. Es decir, es un inglés sin irnos al lado británico, sin irnos al lado norteamericano. ¿Es malo? No, no es malo. Pero cuando hablamos de esa forma, los que son nativo hablantes, ya sea del American o del British, rápidamente se dan cuenta que están delante de una persona que no tiene acento, ni británico ni norteamericano. Y para ellos eso indica, bueno, este es alguien de que ha aprendido inglés posiblemente como foráneo, es decir, fuera de un país. Y ya los pone en esa situación en donde dicen, bueno, no estoy hablando con un nativo, estoy hablando con alguien que ha aprendido el inglés como una segunda lengua. Entonces, en el caso del norteamericano es más fácil, digamos, acercarnos a su pronunciación. Y si le decimos interviewer, si le decimos interview, pues resulta mucho más común para ellos. Otra palabra y de hecho, esa palabra da problema, esa que le tocó a Glenda. Esa palabra tiene dos pronunciaciones. Hay una pronunciación británica y una pronunciación norteamericana. La pronunciación bueno, a mí en lo particular me gusta más la pronunciación británica que la norteamericana. Si la buscamos, por ejemplo, en dictionary.com, esta palabra tiene esas dos. Es para decir agenda o horario o programación de algo. Pero si nos vamos acá, vamos a encontrar las diferentes variantes de esta palabra. Y es una palabra compleja, no en el sentido de la pronunciación, de la forma de leer, eso es lo complejo, porque la separación silábica vendría siendo para todas estas que están acá, son estilos norteamericanos de pronunciar la misma palabra. Y esto de aquí son estilos británicos. Les decía, yo prefiero la británica porque es como que esto de acá hasta aquí, hasta la D, hasta ahí, lo leamos con shed, shed. Es como shed, una SH, shed. Y luego you'll, schedule, 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 schedule. Serían las dos pronunciaciones. Schedule, schedule. Pero los norteamericanos lo dicen de otra manera. Y aquí es de esas cosas que uno dice, ¿y de dónde sacaron eso? Porque le meten un sonido de una acá, en esta parte. Entonces, la primera sílaba, que es esta, la leen como sketch, sketch, schedule, schedule. Sería con U, con un sonido U, schedule, U, prolongado. Otros la dicen con una U más corta, schedule, schedule, schedule. Otros le quitan la U, perdón, le quitan la L y le dejan solo la U, schedule, schedule, así, sin pronunciar la L al final. Y otros la hacen como un schwa al final. Entonces, se vuelve complicada. Es una palabra complicada. De hecho, yo les digo, en esta palabra yo prefiero más la pronunciación británica. Pero ahí es donde uno comienza quizás como a entremezclar y a querer pronunciar unas cosas en American English y otras en British English. Como con lo que uno se siente más cómodo. El problema está que cuando las otras personas nos escuchan, comienza esa situación, bueno, ¿y a qué le tira? Unas cosas las pronuncia como británicas, otras como americanas. ¿Y en dónde está? Ahí es donde surge el Standard English. Ahora, en palabras como estas, el inglés estándar nos va a seguir más la pronunciación británica. Es decir, cuando hablamos de Standard English, a veces el estándar se adapta más al estilo británico, se parece más a la pronunciación británica, tomando en cuenta que ese es el original. Well, pero había algo más y ya casi se nos acaba el time. Let's see. A ver si nos quedaba. Film, aquí está. I'm learning a new film. Call it The Man About Town. Well, film is British. This is British. Esto es muy británico. Decir eso, estoy aprendiéndome un nuevo filme. Se está aprendiendo el libreto, ¿verdad? De un nuevo filme llamado. Usar film es vocabulario británico. Porque un norteamericano, si ese Brad fuera American, diría, yes, I'm learning a new movie. A new movie, call it. Film, movie. Well, there is another expression interesting and is shoot some sins. Sins. This is another word important. Is sins. Sins. Well, with E-zone in this case. Sins. Sin. 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 Well, but time is over. Well, we are going to stay over here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you for your participation. Remember, in this level for English, I need more your participation. Participation for every class. Goodbye, everybody. Take care, and may God bless you.
Nice.
Bye, teacher.
Thank you.
Good night,
Goodbye.
teacher.
Goodbye. Thank you so much.